What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another stream. I got to apologise for how bad the video looks. That's why I've been so long starting. Oh my god, what a complete mess. Because my great new light to light the room is controlled by my phone on wireless, and sometimes it just doesn't pick it up. So I have a light that costs like 150 quid. And I can't turn it on because it won't find it on my Wi-Fi. So I can only apologise for how stupid the video looks. But let's get on with the stream anyway. So the Gameweek 2 is over. Man United drew 1-1. I was hoping we'd get the win tonight against Wolves, but that is always a tricky fixture for us. Or at least it was last season. Lots to talk about. Obviously, PUKKI, hat-trick. People going nuts about him, of course. For good reason. 4 goals in the first 2 games. Was pretty confident I wouldn't get as many points this week as last week. Obviously last week was a really good start, and I tweeted out I was expecting my Gameweek 2 team to not get as many points. It didn't, so we're going to look at that in just a sec. Talk about PUKKI's fixtures, who to captain this week. Kane obviously looking good. Could Son be back? De Bruyne looking irresistible. Martial scoring again. Should the wild cards be out? A lot of people talking about that. Obviously, yes, Pogba missed a penalty as well, which is a bit frustrating, especially for Rashford owners, I am sure. And my little boy who had Pogba in his team, who watched the penalty and was super frustrated. So the stream is sponsored by fantasyfootballscout.co.uk. Make sure to check them out if you're not already. Go and check their members area. Loads of awesome stuff there. Link is in the description below. Just going to play the video for that, and then we'll talk about my team. And hopefully, maybe I'll get the light working in between. So thanks once again for fantasyfootballscout.co.uk sponsoring the stream. Make sure to check them out. Like I said, loads of custom tables you can make. There's player comparison articles or player comparison options in the members area. Rate my team, fixture tickers, and all that good stuff. So make sure to check them out. If you haven't already, link is in the description below. Thanks very much to Gaurav for becoming a member of the channel. You should get a cool little thing next to your name now, which I really need to improve, like I said last time. But yeah, the light is a no-go. Rashford, 1 bonus point. Yeah, so the game's just finished 1-1. Bit frustrating. I didn't get to watch it all. I was out for a bit. So I watched some of the second half. Man United looked okay. Like I said, Wolves is a tricky one. Traore definitely changed it a bit for Wolves in the second half. So 1-0 obviously not good. I actually think in some ways, obviously you'd want your defenders to get points, of course. In some ways, that might put people off Man United defenders a little bit. And actually, I think they're going to be pretty alright going forward. Aha! Here we go. Watch this. Boom. Literally about 30 attempts to get that to work. The production quality on this stream sometimes is just unreal. Yeah, so 50 points for me. Lundstram on the bench. I did talk about maybe benching him. Maybe playing him instead of Lucas Moura or Perez. I mean, if I'm completely honest, I would have probably played Perez and benched Moura. So yes, I would have still been up on points, but I'm always going to play the attacker. So yeah, I was happy enough with it. Lundstram on the bench, not going to complain too much about that. Lucas Dean, hopefully he's not injured. He's got off to a great start to the season. Maybe I could have played Lundstram instead of Zinchenko. I don't know. What am I doing with Lucas Moura this week? Yeah, we'll come on to that. So I've got 2 transfers, but I'm all over the place with exactly what to do. So I suppose what's in my head right now is a few different things. It's basically like, do I get De Bruyne or Martial? And I did watch that Man City game, and I mean, they had almost as many attempts against Spurs as Liverpool had against Norwich. as Spurs had against Aston Villa in Gameweek 1. So it was like nearly, I think they had 30 odd. I didn't check the exact ones. And De Bruyne looks so good. I know, obviously, Sterling got the goal again. He got the hat-trick in the first day. But given Man City's fixtures coming up, I probably need to go for De Bruyne. So here's how I would do it. I don't really want to get rid of Wilson because I feel like he's got 2 returns without scoring. So when the goals start getting banged in as well, I think he's going to do all right. But it is Man City next, and I always knew that I would probably have to get rid of a Bournemouth player this weekend. So De Bruyne, Martial and Pukki are all rising tonight. Oh, that hurts, I'm not going to lie. So yeah, I might look at Wilson to Pukki. We can talk about whether that's a good idea. Barnes also has pretty good underlying stats. In fact, there's so much hype about Pukki, but Barnes only has 1 less goal. But to be fair, Pukki has created a few chances, whereas Barnes hasn't, and Pukki's also had more attempts on goal, and he's played Liverpool, who Barnes has in the next 2 fixtures. I'll check who's rising in a minute. Honestly, I've not checked the price rises, so you should use wildcard. The thing is, using the wildcard when you got 2 free transfers just feels so wrong. So maybe I should have gone for the aggressive route last week and got Martial for Mora. But Mora coming on was so good. Let me have a quick look while we're at it at who's maybe rising tonight. So FPL statistics, Lundstrom possibly rising. Lundstrom and Sterling, if they've got it right, should rise. And then Dunk, Peters, Wan-Bissaka, Ryan Cantwell. So De Bruyne doesn't look like he's rising. 14.5%. So he's only just risen. Pukki's probably going to rise tonight as well. Who will I maybe be taking out? Lucas Moura probably not going to drop just yet. Perez might drop. That's pretty frustrating. Wilson also looks like he might drop soon. And King not too far behind. So FPL fix has been more accurate so far. Alright, fair enough. Well, I've only looked at that, so I'm not obviously neither of them are completely accurate. But yeah, so here's what I'm thinking. Wilson to Pukki. Even though it does feel a bit not knee-jerk, but it just feels a bit like chasing points with Chelsea at home up next. And I know it's not the same Chelsea as before. And I know obviously how good he's been, but I still look at the next 3 fixtures being Chelsea, Man City at home. Doesn't strike me with too much confidence, to be completely honest. But Wilson to Pukki, Lucas Moura to De Bruyne. Even though there's a little part of me in the back of my head that just thinks Moura is going to be playing Newcastle at home. I think there's probably a good chance that he starts, but obviously I don't know for sure. And Son's back, so that makes it... The fact that he got benched without Son even in the consideration, he's obviously a worry going forward. So if I kept him, it would literally just be for the Newcastle game, and then I would probably get rid of him. And no, I can't afford that, because obviously they've gone up in price already. So I'd have to take a -4 to fund it. And I could do it with a Liverpool defender to Wan-Bissaka maybe. But I think I'm going to hold the 2 Liverpool defenders unless I wildcard for another 3 weeks. So Arsenal at home. Is it Burnley away? Let me just double check here. So Arsenal at home. I think it's Burnley away, Newcastle at home. I feel like there's potential for 2 clean sheets there. And they were so... Ings had a chance to score he should have put away. And obviously Adrian did have a really good save. But the way they lost the clean sheet in the end was so frustrating. They could have easily had it. They have a double clean sheet, and then suddenly we're not talking about Trent. Then we're looking at Van Dijk with an attacking return, Trent with an attacking return, and 3 clean sheets. And suddenly we're not talking about getting rid of him at all. So I'm probably not looking to fund it there. The way I'll probably fund it is Perez down to a 6 million midfielder. I think I've got about 0.2 million to play with doing that. But that means I have to keep King. It means I don't have Martial. But I still have the double. I'm not ready to get rid of double Liverpool defence yet, and I don't think I'm ready to get Lucas. If Lucas Dean is injured, that might just swing it for me. I might just play the wild card. I don't know. Zinchenko, I think, Man City got good fixtures coming up. He's probably going to hold his place. Man City have conceded 5 shots in the box in the first 2 games. Bearing in mind they've played Spurs. And Liverpool have conceded 17 in the same time. And that's more shots. Liverpool conceded more shots in the box in the first 2 game weeks than they did in the first 4 last year. Now, I didn't check what fixtures they played, so maybe that had some part of it. But Norwich and Southampton, don't know. Liverpool defence looks a bit worrying to me. So, not ready to get rid. I don't think it's wildcard time to get rid of Liverpool defenders just yet. So it'll probably be Wilson to Pukki, Moura to De Bruyne, and then Perez down to someone who's 6.2 or less. So it's Trossard, McGinn maybe, Daniel James if I want to put a Man United player in. Although I just don't know if he's got the enough attacking potential just yet. I think there's potential there, but I think he's a bit far off getting consistent points. So it'd probably be Trossard or Mason Mount. Yeah, Mount. Yeah. So I looked at the 6 million midfielders, and I think he did come out on top so far. Obviously, it's only been 2 weeks. But yeah, still no good way to get Martial then, really. Maybe something like... Yeah, I just would have no good way to get Martial, really, at that point. That's my only worry. I don't know if Martial is essential just yet. He looks good, though. It's really Martial or De Bruyne. I mean, if I wanted Martial, I can do it for free. But I'd be keeping... I mean, I could do King to Pukki and Moura to Martial for free and keep Wilson. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about. I'm not going to go into that too much more because I'm really undecided, to be honest. I've got 0.5 million in the bank, so I think I can do King to Pukki and Martial in for Lucas Moura for free. Let me have a look. Pukki, Martial. Yeah, 0.2 million remaining. So maybe I do that. Maybe I keep Wilson. Then that also means I have to keep Perez, and I'm really not too sure about that at the moment either. Oh, Gaz has messaged me. I'm going to have to try and look out for his name in chat. Aaron Chase, thanks very much for that, my man. Use my free hit. Use your free hit. Oof. You know that team is going to change for next week. After the week. It's too late now, of course. I mean, like if you use free hit, you definitely use free hit and not wildcard. The thing about free hit, it's only for 1 week. So, although I'm hopeful that Liverpool will get something versus Arsenal, I'm not sure that's the defence that I would back. So Salah and Mane is interesting, yeah, in attack, and Sterling for sure, and De Bruyne. Midfield looks really good. But like, what are you playing there? Like 4-5-1. I feel like if you're free hitting this week, you can do better. Like, I would be tempted to maybe go for a couple of Man United defenders. Crystal Palace have not looked great going forward so far. Pukki against Chelsea, yeah, maybe to save money. But I mean, if you're free hitting this week, you have to have Kane, right? Have to have Harry Kane in there somewhere. So I would personally think I would rethink that a bit. I don't know if Mane and Salah are needed when it's Arsenal. I feel like you've got to go for a couple of Spurs players in there for sure. Just remember, you don't get to keep that team going forward if you've popped the free hit button. So I quite like the idea of kind of backing a few defences and just hoping they get clean sheets, and then bam, you're in. So Man United do stand out, and Spurs as well. You could go for some, but obviously there's no guarantee. Okay, it is wildcard. Fair enough. Then it's a bit different then. Yeah, I mean, I think if I was wildcarding, I'd probably stick with the fullbacks at Liverpool instead of Van Dijk. Obviously, if you can make enough money, and I still don't know if there's enough room for Salah and Mane, but Sterling and De Bruyne looks great. Obviously, you've gone for two 4.5 million forwards as well, so that does lack a bit of flexibility. Greenwood and probably Wickham are not going to get too many minutes. And then also in defence, you got Dunk, Kelly and Lundstrom. Obviously, Lundstrom looks good and doesn't look like he's probably going to use his pace just yet. If at all, maybe not ever. But yeah, I think I would spread the funds a bit more. I think midfield looks good, but it's just maybe hurting the rest of the team a bit. God, imagine if you'd hit a free hit. That would hurt. The chat is crazy fast. So there is slow mode on. So it could be a lot worse. Lundstrom is definitely this year's Wan-Bissaka. Arguably, even better. We'll have to see. Lundstrom won't be very consistent. The thing is, he's 4 million. It doesn't really need to be. You misclick free hit. Oof. Ouch. Would I consider Matip? No, definitely not, I don't think. Because he played, then Gomez played the week before. Who's going to play the next game? I don't think any of us really know. We started Lundstrom Appreciation Society. I bench him, I don't think I can. Am I going to try and beat the price rises tonight? No, but they could hurt me, couldn't they? I could be like another... I'm going to have to check. I could be another 0.2, 0.3 million down. I need to double check. I think I go the De Bruyne route. Sorry. I just think Man City's fixtures are so good and he just looked ridiculous again. It's not fair that Man City can play Spurs and have that many chances. They were super unlucky to lose. Do you think Mount is likely to start most games? So I think, if I'm right, obviously I know he has started both games, but I think he's played 90 minutes as well. Yeah. And wasn't he on loan to Derby last year? So maybe, I think he's like a bit of, he's kind of Lampard's boy. Have I got that right? I think he was at Derby. Norwich away, Sheffield United at home, Wolves. I mean, the only thing for Chelsea is the next two are good, but then the next two after that are difficult. So it feels like a bit short term. But chances of my wildcard making it much further than game week 4 is pretty low, I think. So, yeah, I probably will go for Mount. It's a shame Trossard didn't start both the first two games, really. Yeah, with Pukki, because we kind of haven't chatted about him too much, surprisingly, actually. I don't know what you guys think about... I feel like any player that I have that plays Man City is a blank straight away. Obviously, it doesn't always work like that. It's not like Man City never concede. But they pretty much always score. So I feel like Man City's a blank, but it's only one game, obviously. But West Ham away is okay, and Chelsea at home, I guess that's an okay fixture now. And the thing I like about Pukki is he's shooting a lot. So he got 3 shots in the box against Liverpool, 7 against Newcastle. So he's got the same amount of shots in the box as Sterling, which is pretty impressive. And it just feels a bit like it's really not the worst time to be chasing a bandwagon like that. I think Jota, interestingly, is going to start to get overlooked quite a bit because he hasn't done anything in the first 2 games. And obviously, we did say about Europe maybe affecting them. I think he's actually going to do okay going forward. I think the fixtures are okay. But if I can actually see Pukki scoring against Chelsea now. I just think they're so attacking. Chelsea not quite at the races yet. Obviously, still trying to figure out the best team, trying to make up for the lack of Hazard, etc. So I think I can talk, but it's 3 away games and 2 home fixtures against top 6 side in the next 5. I probably will get Pukki in, but I think I wouldn't be completely surprised if the goals dry up a bit. But it might not be any harm getting on the first bandwagon. And I think I do go for De Bruyne over Martial, although the thing is, it doesn't hurt as much when Martial scores because I'm happy to see him scoring for us. De Bruyne already on 18 points. Bournemouth, Brighton, Norwich, Watford, Everton, Wolves. I mean, it looks nice. Pukki is overachieving a bit, but like I said, he is shooting a lot. I mean, I guess 4 goals, 10 shots. Probably won't keep that up. Then obviously you're not bringing him in expecting a hat-trick every week. So sorry, got to answer Chris' question. Thanks very much for that. You read that Lucas Dean has a hamstring injury and will be out until Friday. Would you get in another Everton defender or are you Man United one? That's a good question. Obviously wait. Absolutely wait, because there is a chance he plays. You could also, depending on who you've got on the bench, you could bench him if it's only one game. Play Lundstrom against Leicester, maybe. You might get something. But I think if he's only out for one game, I think it's worth keeping him because then he's got Wolves, Bournemouth, Sheffield United after that. And he has looked good so far. And I saw a tweet earlier by someone which I retweeted that Everton have got the most clean sheets, I think, in 2019. I think that's what it said. How can they are? So I would be tempted to try and keep him. Now, if I had to get rid of him, I feel like him going kind of hinders the Everton defence a little bit. Although, like I said, they have kept a lot of clean sheets. I don't know if I would stick with them. I don't know. You could go for Mina or Coleman. I would be tempted to switch to Man United, but I would be, wouldn't I? Kane or Rashford. I mean, there's such different price ranges. You can't really talk about them like that. I mean, this week obviously Kane looks like a pretty good option. Did nothing against Man City, but I wasn't expecting it anyway. Newcastle at home, completely different story. Pukki's just scored 3. No reason Kane can't get a couple. I mean, I think going forward, like Rashford would probably be better value. But without knowing what the kind of other players are you can get with the money, you know, Rashford's like what, 8.5, 8.6 now maybe, so it's like nearly 2.5 million less than Kane. Should we stop avoiding hard decisions by relying on logic, like Salah captain versus the poor team ahead of Sterling and Zinchenko versus top 4 ahead of a bench player? By relying on, I mean, if you think your logic is good, then that's the decision made. I don't think you're avoiding a hard decision. You're just making a decision based on logic. I mean, like I said, people made good cases to have Sterling this week. But I was always going to captain Salah against Southampton. I don't give my captaincy too much thought. I just go for the one I think has easier fixture, which sounds pretty obvious. Don't get me wrong. So this week it'll be Sterling. Next week it'll be Sterling. Game week 5 it'll be Sterling. I'm not actually going to captain. Game week 5 Salah's got Newcastle. We'll decide that at the time. But you know, next few weeks absolutely made up. I'm not going to captain Kane this week, obviously. So I'm not really looking at bringing him in. Don't have a good way to do it. Salah versus Mane is interesting. So obviously Mane did really well. Salah got nothing. Again, a little bit frustrating. I watched that Liverpool game. Didn't really have too many good chances either, and obviously Mane finished so well. Like I said in the last stream though, like Salah to Mane, unless there's an injury, is never ever going to be a transfer that I will make. I don't think. Unless I really desperately needed 1 million, I thought that was the best way to do it. It's super unlikely. Now, on wildcard, it's a completely different story. And Mane, I think, is the top scorer in 2019. He's kind of matching Salah stats-wise already, although he has played a few less minutes, so he's a little bit behind, but not far away. I think Mane's been in really, really good form for a long time now. The fact it's a million less, I'm not as inclined to do it. Just not as, like, if he was 9.5 again, absolutely no-brainer. But all it needs is for Salah to score against Arsenal, Salah to score a brace against Arsenal, Mane to get nothing, and then suddenly it's like, well, is Salah the best option? So I don't know. On wildcard, I can see why people are doing it. And the one thing that makes me think that move is actually pretty good is I don't have a good argument to go Salah over Mane right now. Penalties, maybe, but that's about it. Mane has outscored Salah 20-12 in 2019. Is that all competitions? I mean, what would I do with the extra million right now? I mean, that would let me do Perez to Martial. So maybe that is better. So I could do that the week after. So it's not completely out of the question, but I'm certainly not going to take a hit to do it. On wildcard, I might think about it. Yeah, the problem with Barnes is versus PUKKI is I think Burnley generally over the next kind of 4 or 5 have better fixtures, but they play Wolves away and Liverpool at home in the next 2. So that kind of puts me off. After that, it's decent enough. That's probably why I'd go for PUKKI. Yeah, Salah is on some set pieces. Yeah, it kind of shares at least corners. Well, and free kicks. He shares them with Trent. Depends on what side of the box or the goal it's on. Okay, wildcarding. We haven't really talked about it, have we? Is wildcarding a justifiable option this week if you feel you need to jump on some bandwagons for the long run, like De Bruyne, PUKKI, etc.? I think if you're absolutely confident the players you want right now after 2 game weeks are the ones you're going to want for the long term, because bear in mind you can't now wildcard until January, then you should do it. If you're unhappy with the players, like I could make a case for wildcard, especially if Lucas Dean's out. I could get rid of 1 Liverpool defender. I'd probably still keep 1, but get rid of 1. I'd need to get rid of Lucas Dean. Moura needs to go long term. Perez needs to go long term. Salah could become Mane, although that is not a wildcard. That's not a reason in itself to wildcard. Wilson and King. I still don't know if there's a massive reason to get rid of Wilson, but obviously PUKKI looks good, so King to PUKKI would be good too. Bench-wise, I think I'm happy with it. Cantwell, maybe at Norwich instead of Dendoncker, but I don't think there's too much in that. And goalkeeper-wise, I probably wouldn't change it. So there's a few things to do, but if Liverpool then go and keep 2 clean sheets in the next 3, which I don't think is out of the question, then I regret taking that out. And I don't think, for me, I still don't feel like I have enough information just to make that wildcard decision. And I think with 2 free transfers, using 3, again, like if you made a transfer last week, maybe it's a bit different, but I could have PUKKI and De Bruyne and Mountain. So at that point, the only player I kind of really want that I don't have is Martial. Is Martial worth a wildcard? You know, yes, Wan-Bissaka might do as well as Liverpool defenders over the next few weeks, but we don't know that for sure. So I'm probably not going to do it myself. If you feel that you've got different teams to me, so if you feel like you're absolutely in those bandwagons, you don't want to lose the money, and you've got players you want to get rid of that you're just, because I'm really not sure about the likes of Perez, etc., then go for it. But I'm always going to be a bit more patient. It's just how I play. What am I missing about Mount Wilder? I think he played well at the weekend, and also I don't know if there's a massively standout option at 6 million or less. So even though I'd probably side with Mount, I don't know if I'm like a strong enough opinion that he is absolutely the best. I think Trossard could be good too. I may even go with him. I just wish he'd played twice so I could have seen what he's like. Yeah, I'm tempted to do the transfer, to be honest. But it's only Monday. I have not done a transfer that early for so long. Ndombele, I'm not interested, to be honest. Mr. H, thanks very much. Pope, Zinchenko, Mount for Ederson, Ake and Kante. If that's to get Pope, Zinchenko and Mount in, then I quite like it. I'm assuming it is. The first 3 players are better combo than the latter 3 in my opinion. Obviously, Mendy could affect Zinchenko at some point, but for now, I think I'm feeling good about Zinchenko. If you take 5 times 4.5 million defenders and PUKKI and play 4-5-1, you can have Salah, Sterling, De Bruyne, Mane and Martial. I'm not interested personally, I don't think. It'd be. I mean, if you do that, it'd be really interesting to see how it works out. But 4.5 million defenders just not doing it for me this year. Why don't you consider Lamella for 6 million? I'm basically not considering any. Pretty much, apart from, I want Son, but I'm just not. I don't know if I'm 100% confident he'll get straight back in and starts playing 80 to 90 minutes every week. I think longer term he is part of the first 11, the best 11 for Spurs, but they got so many, like Lamella's fit now, Moura's playing, doing alright, Lo Celso's there, Eriksen's still there, Ali might be back soon. So I'm just not confident about who's going to play for Spurs. So Lamella's just a no-go for me right now. And also I felt like it was a nice finish for the goal, but it just came out of nowhere. Outside the box like that, I don't know. Not for me. De Bruyne and Martial or Kane and Mount? Well, that's not really... thanks for that, by the way. That's not... I mean, De Bruyne and Martial... But obviously you can't directly change those players because two of them are midfielders. But I feel like De Bruyne and Martial beats Kane and Mount. Puka Barnes. I mean, we've already kind of talked about that a bit. Pukki for me. Yeah, see, this is where the Mane and Salah debate gets interesting. Although, again, this is not a kind of straight swap because Martial is 2 million less than Son, not 1 million. But Son and Mane or Salah and Martial. I mean, if Son gets straight back into the team and plays week in, week out, I feel like Son and Mane will probably win that. But Salah and Martial will get damn close. I think... Man, are we still live? Oh, we are still live. That's weird. Yeah, if you just... That's so weird. Good job I didn't do anything weird, because some people need to see. I hate that happens. It's one thing I hate about streaming on this internet connection. I always have some kind of problem. Versus just making videos. Yeah. I can't even remember what I was talking about. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Martial. One thing I never went off. Yeah, on my screen I did though. Which is weird. One thing I was thinking about Martial earlier is one thing that was interesting. Obviously, we've not got. I mean, maybe this sounds obvious because Man United have not got too many other options to use right now. But he's played 90 minutes, whereas before, if he was ever a starter, he'd always tend to come off around like 70 minutes or so. So because he's not having to do as much defensive work because he's playing up front. So obviously, it tends to get tends to be put down to unless you've got like a Firmino type. Tends to be kind of the wingers in that formation that come back and help defend. So he's not having to do as much defending. So he's played 90 minutes, which I think bodes well from going forward. So I think Man United got fixtures. I mean, he's obviously not going to score every week, but I'd love to have him and De Bruyne. If I had a good way to do that, I think I'd be all over it. Gaurav, play King and Moura, a no-brainer, and bench... I don't know if it's a no-brainer to play King over Lundstrom. So obviously Lundstrom has Leicester, but it depends whether you think Leicester are going to suddenly turn on. I mean, there was two tough enough fixtures to start with, I suppose, but obviously Vardy hasn't fired yet. Perez looks a bit rubbish so far. So yeah, they did get their goal against Chelsea, but I mean, it's an easier fixture against Sheffield United, I would say. I think Lucas Moura, I think you have to start him if you're going to keep him because it's Newcastle at home. So if he does start, there could be big points in it. And then King and Lundstrom. Yeah, King and Lundstrom. I'd probably go for the attacker. I don't know if I'm as confident this week about Lundstrom as I was last week. I don't think there's been any more Lucas Dean news, to be honest. I don't think we're going to get much more for the press conferences. Is Perez definitely going? I feel like Perez is my best way to fund the other two moves. So yeah, he probably will go. You've bitten the bullet on the wild card. Kane, De Bruyne, Sterling, Pukki, Wilson, and Martial all in. Wilson in, interesting. A lot of people looking to take him out, unless that's the other Wilson. Thoughts on Cantwell at 4? I think he's 4.5 million. Plays behind Pukki. I mean, he looks really good, and I think out of all the Norwich midfielders, underlying stats-wise, he's looked the best. But I've seen quite a few Norwich fans say that there is a chance he might, at some point, lose his place. But that could be this. I don't know enough about Norwich to say whether that's true or not. But that's what I was reading. But right now, I mean, how can they drop him, I suppose? He's playing so well. But that might be like Sheffield United fans thinking that Lundstram wasn't going to start. And look what happened there. Hans, thanks very much. Robbo, Perez, Wilson to Wan-Bissaka, De Bruyne, Pukki. Yeah, I mean, I like it. It's just... I just don't know about getting rid of Liverpool defenders just yet. I'm not sure I'm ready for that. But I mean, I feel like if you've got another Liverpool defender, I feel like it's maybe okay. And I mean, that is probably the latter three and the better combo there. I mean, what do people think about Liverpool defenders? Let's get a discussion going in the chat. Liverpool defender. I mean, there's a poll. If you haven't already voted on the polls, make sure you do. Top right hand corner, click the little Y. There is one about Liverpool defenders. Missed my super chat. Please scroll back. Did I? Oh, sorry. Soyun, Ku, Chu, or Dunk. I think I would back Leicester defence over Brighton. Although Brighton have started okay. Apologies for missing that. It's going quite slow. Liverpool flop this season. I don't know if they'll flop, but I do think they'll do worse than last season. I do think Man City are going to win this league comfortably this year. Sticking with two Liverpool defenders, but only because you have bigger issues to deal with. Fair enough, don't want to take the hit. Double Liverpool defence will separate the men from the boys. Patient pays off. I mean, a clean sheet against Arsenal would be amazing. Very unlucky not to get a clean sheet with Southampton. Yeah, I mean, I was so annoyed watching it. I mean, not completely annoyed because there was a chance that Southampton could have got nicked some points. Didn't happen, but yeah. Not confident until Alisson returns. That is a worry. I mean, their whole game at the back is to play out from the back, and he does not look as confident as Alisson when it comes to that. With regards to Liverpool, just Trent is the way to go while their backline is leaky because he's the most likely to provide attacking returns. Again, yeah, I mean, it's not like Robertson wasn't attacking at all, but again, I do think on the eye, Trent, it's horrible not owning him. No Liverpool defender as long as Adrian's in goal. Yeah, fair enough. Your Twitter reaction to the Adrian error summed it up. Yeah, I mean, shouldn't swear, of course, so I do apologise. But I'd had a few beers at that point. I was so annoyed. Van Dijk has a really good goal for it. Yeah, absolutely. How do I feel about not having any Spurs players for the Newcastle game? I mean, realistically, the one I want is Kane, and I can get him, but I can't get him in a way I want to get him. So, you can't have them all. You just cannot have them all. I didn't see the Brighton game. I saw a few of the highlights. Trossard did look good. I just think with him, you kind of, a bit like some of the Game Week 1 players, you're basing it on one game week, so obviously didn't play the first one, but I think there's a lot of kind of expectations around him. And obviously delivering that goal. Did have one wiped out. Unfortunate for owners, but yeah, I think right now, around the 6 million, he's probably as good as anyone. I just kind of like Chelsea's next two for Mount. Aguero in the starting. I mean, it looks like it'd be interesting to see who plays next week for Man City, because obviously Jesus started, now Aguero started. Aguero did have that number, that kind of was the number one last year without a doubt. So it'd be interesting to see whether he just keeps his place now. You live in Belgium, you've seen Trossard for the past 3 seasons. Believe me, it's not a fluke. Yeah. Maybe he is the one. I look at the fixtures a bit more. The only thing that's in my mind about Mount, even though it's a bit short term when it comes to fixtures, is I don't know how long this team will last out without a wild card. Like, if Liverpool do not keep a clean sheet against Arsenal at home, maybe I shouldn't bank on that. And then it's Burnley away. You lose the confidence. The one thing I will say about people losing Liverpool defenders already, you're kind of looking at Arsenal at home, Burnley away, and Newcastle at home. You'd want at least 1 clean sheet there, and probably maybe an attacking return, or 2 clean sheets. And then the next 5 fixtures, it's Chelsea away, Leicester at home, Man United away, and Tottenham at home. So it's not good for Liverpool, and I don't know how confident I would be at that point holding them. So realistically, for Liverpool defenders, for me to have 2, given the way they've been playing, I only really want them for the next 3 fixtures anyway. So at that point, I'd probably be ready to get rid of 1. And it'd probably be Van Dijk. I'd probably keep Robertson. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I don't know. I don't think it's a wildcard worthy decision just yet. Kane and De Bruyne for Salah and Wilson. Oof. Getting rid of Salah. If you're confident to captain one of your other players every week, and obviously Kane this week, then you could go for it. Yeah, those kind of, like, I've done that before. So on paper, yes, I think Kane and De Bruyne does look good. I don't know if Kane will outscore Wilson that much over the course of the season, although did start off okay, has had a bit of a rest over the summer, etc. And De Bruyne looks irresistible right now. So I think I'd probably side with Kane and De Bruyne, but I wouldn't like not having a Liverpool attacker at all in my team. You think some people want my opinion on Ceballos? I'm happy to wait with him. Let's see what he's like in the next couple of games. I know you don't want to keep using this as an excuse not to get someone, but obviously he is only 5.6, so even if he rises a couple more times, he's still going to be a good price if you keep starting. But Liverpool away, that's never a... on wildcard, maybe you can do it because you've got to think longer term. But I look at the next 5 fixtures, Liverpool away, Spurs at home, Man United away. They have got Watford and Villa before Man United, but I would just wait for the next 2 games and kind of see how they all play together. And whether he can just keep that up. But can't really fault him for that Burnley game. Did I answer your question? Probably not. Who knows? I can't really remember what it was, to be honest. Can I ask again? I can have a look. Grealish or Trossard. Grealish has created a lot of chances already in the first 2 games. Had a couple of goal attempts, but not really many inside the box. Or not many at all, really. So it looks like he's maybe going to be more for the assists. I think I would probably go on the Trossard hype, but Villa's fixtures are nice, so I don't think Grealish is the worst option, to be honest. Perez to trollers have to sell him. There is a little bit of worry for me about selling him. Because it kind of, for me, he was a hold for 4 weeks. To get those 2 easier games, but Sheffield United away suddenly not looking like an easy game for goals. Should we not be more patient with Perez and Moore considering their fixtures? Yeah, possibly, but I've got to use a transfer this week. I could just do King to PUKKI and just leave it, but I think Perez and Moore are going to be problems with me going forward. So I'm just going to swallow my pride, say, okay, Perez didn't work out in the first 2, and then go from there. Do I have a Discord or anything, or is that for patrons? I have a Slack, but it is a Patreon Slack, yeah. Which is a nice little segue. Boom, Patreon supporters. Oh, I've got my webcam losing my head a bit. Losing my head with these transfers. So thanks very much to everyone that's supporting on Patreon. Got new patrons this week, this stream. Signed up to the producer level, so they're going to get on this slide either way. So Lucas and Noise Freak, who's usually in the chat actually. So thanks very much for signing up. And then Scott B, Scott S, Soren M, Amir P, Dean P, Dylan M, Gaz H, Machek, Matthew H, and Christopher M have all signed up as well. So thanks very much for or who are on producer level tiers, sorry. So thanks to everyone that signed up on Patreon, much appreciated. I've sent out all the Slack invites, lots of conversation going on over the weekend. Couldn't get involved with too much of it because I was drinking beer all weekend, but that will change. Well, that won't be the case on most weekends. So thanks very much to everyone that signed up. If you want to check it out, Slack channels, there'll be a new league for September as well. Make sure to click the link in the description below. Is Mane and Salah a bad idea? I don't think it necessarily is, because suddenly double Liverpool defence doesn't look great. So having 2 Liverpool attackers is not the worst idea because they're going to score lots of goals. But it's a lot of money. And I feel like at that point you're struggling to get Sterling. I feel like Sterling, De Bruyne plus 1 Liverpool attacker is better than 2 Liverpool attackers plus 1 of the Man City boys. Martial didn't get bonus points. He did not. It was as long as this is refreshed. So Moutinho got 3. So Rashford's the only one that's going to get a bonus point basically. Maguire conceded and was on level points with Martial. Damn. Is Barnes essential? No. Is Barnes going under the radar? Yes, absolutely, because people are getting Pukki instead. So, yes, he is going under the radar. He's got goal threat wise, he's been virtually identical to Pukki, only 1 goal less. Bringing in good form from last season as well, so he's just carrying it on. So, yeah, he is being overlooked. And I'm going to overlook him this week too. At all, thanks very much. Hopefully you didn't ask that by Super Chat before. If you did, I apologise. Maybe it might have been when the stream was going down. Do I think Son and Mane or Salah and Martial? I mean, you could even say Mane and Martial. You really could. I mean, I don't think Son is a risk, but I think it would be disappointing if you bought him in for Newcastle and then he didn't start. You might bet him in. So I'd probably say Salah and Martial for now. But it could be Mane and Martial if you think Mane's going to do better than Salah. You got 52. Yeah, unlucky. Not great, was it? But always going to have these weeks, and I knew it was likely to happen this week. So not too bad. Not feeling too bad. Just another under-the-radar pick is Lanzini. Everything goes through him in the West Ham attack. Yeah, probably not a bad pick. We've seen him do okay before. I just think I'm not too sure. West Ham have got good fixtures, I know, but just I don't know how many goals they got in them right now. Mane is overall a better player than Salah. Oof, that is a controversial opinion. Mane's better than Salah. Interesting. Not sure. Do I agree? Not sure I do. Storm Gaming, thanks very much. Kane and a 4.5 million defender for Wilson and Robertson. Have 2 Liverpool defenders. Do you have to play that 4.5 million defender all the time? Because if you do, that would put me off a little bit. But I mean, Kane looks really good this week. So, I think it's so close. I do think we're going to write Wilson off early. And we're going to get rid of him. And he's going to do really well after Man City. But I think right now, probably Kane the 4.5. Fair to say that Barnes and Pukki are the perfect replacements for Wilson and King. Right now, yes, you'd have to say that. Obviously, we are basing it on 2 game weeks, though. And as we saw, King's on penalties can quite easily get a goal from that. But yeah, I mean, right now, you have to say probably are, but it's 2 game weeks. It could easily change. But the fact that Bournemouth have got Man City this week does make it much easier just to go for it. But I don't know if Barnes is going to get too many points over the next 2 fixtures, to be completely honest. I do think it's a slight risk with Pukki against Chelsea as well. I forgot actually, that's a good point, there's a Friday night deadline. Not that it should. That does, it feels like it makes it better it feels like it makes it okay. It feels like it makes it okay to transfer early, or is that just me? Me just wishing. Just got back from the pub, gutted with the pog pen. Still not using the new background. I know. I apologise. I need more time in my life. Seriously, I will get it done though. The thing about the Pogba penalty miss as well, he didn't even do that stupid run up. He just went for it. Still missed it. So frustrating. Alright, let's do the polls. If you haven't already, make sure you click on that little eye in the top right hand corner. And we will get them done. Jump on the Mane train before it's too late. It's never too late. It was a good save, yeah. It was a good save. I think I do think that probably means Rashford will take the next one. I don't think Rashford's missed a professional penalty yet. And he's taken some pressure ones as well. I think, did he take one against Chelsea and definitely the one against Paris Saint-Germain? Balls of steel. The prices are changing quickly, but I mean, it always happens at the start of the season. Okay. So, what ones did I do? Is it time to ditch Liverpool defenders? 62% saying yes if you've got the double up. 30% saying no. And 7% saying yeah, in general, just get rid of Liverpool defenders. But mostly if you've got a double up, people are saying get rid. It's big. Is PUKKI must own? 57% say no, but 43% say yes. PUKKI, Norwich is must own. 29 goals last season, only needs another 25 in the next 36 fixtures to match that. Now that would be damn impressive. If on wildcard, would you go for Mane or Salah? 54% going for Mane. Obviously, probably a little bit of recent game syndrome going on there. Salah didn't get anything, Mane did. Mane, 54%. It's pretty close though. I'm surprised he does nick it though. And have you hit the wildcard button? 77% no, but there are 23% of the 859 people that voted saying yes, you've hit the wildcard. Good luck with that this week. It is definitely going to be tough, I think. You know, Son comes back against Newcastle, gets a hat-trick. Suddenly we need another wildcard. I don't tend to rate my teams, I'm afraid. There's loads of min leagues. If you go on Twitter and stuff, you can have a look. There's loads. Don't know if there's any. I mean, there's loads of other content creators and stuff. You could go and look up theirs. Right, it's late. Obviously, we had a late match tonight, so I'm going to leave it there. Next stream will be Thursday evening as normal. I will try and get out the normal videos this week. It's a very busy week. So we'll see what happens with the points one, the team one, and all the preview and stuff. But I'm probably going to do PUKKI. I may even do it tonight. I'm not going to do it live on the stream. I need to give it a little bit more thought. But PUKKI, De Bruyne, Mount in for Perez, Moore, and Wilson. I feel good about my team. If I get bad injury news, that would be bad. Like, it'd be nice to have Lucas Dean. If I knew he was out, I could do him to Wan-Bissaka and just keep Perez for another week, and that would let me make the move. But I've got to wait on him, I think. So, yeah, I'll leave it there. If you haven't already, make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new around here.